Hi there, I'm Erica Chafkin, Founder and Chief Empowerment Officer, otherwise known as the CEO of DateWithPower.com, where you can find powerful practical solutions to your biggest dating struggles. Today, I want to talk to you about the 5 biggest online dating mistakes that are preventing you from meeting Mr. Right. Whether you're new to online dating or an experienced online dater, I'm confident you'll gain some interesting ideas and insights from what you're about to hear. By the time this presentation is over, you'll not only know what these 5 mistakes are, but also how to fix them so you can start meeting and attracting better quality men online. I'm also going to give you some information about my ebook, The Single Woman's Guide to Navigating the Online Dating World: How to Go from Online to Happily Ever After. Now, before we dive in, I want to take a few moments to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about my own online dating journey. For those of you who don't already know me, my name is Erica Chafkin, and I'm a dating and relationship coach for marriage-minded women of all ages who are trying to navigate the often confusing dating scene and find their life partners. I'm also the founder of the website DateWithPower.com, and the reason it's called Date with Power is because I literally want to empower you with the confidence, knowledge, and skills you need to succeed in the dating world so you can find that special someone and build a lasting, long-term committed relationship with him. Today I want to talk to you about online dating, a topic that's very near and dear to my heart for 2 reasons. The first is that I dated online for over 10 years, so I'm definitely a seasoned veteran of the online dating world. The second, and perhaps most important reason, is that I met my husband on Match.com a few years ago. Now, while I may be considered an online dating success story, I can assure you that wasn't always the case. For many years, I struggled to find a healthy, lasting relationship online. In fact, if you had told me back then that I'd be here today giving a video on online dating, I would have thought you were nuts. And the reason I say that is because my love life back then consisted of one dead-end relationship after another. Whenever I'd meet someone new, my friends would sarcastically joke, "Gee, I wonder how long that one's gonna last." Needless to say, I was not a happy camper in the dating world, both online and offline. After going through several failed relationships, I finally reached a point where I'd had it. I was completely and utterly fed up with dating. I knew that something had to change because whatever I was doing clearly was not working. I therefore embarked on a personal growth journey in which I did a lot of introspective work to try to figure out why I was having such a hard time finding the right person. I read books and articles on relationships, went to workshops, you name it, I did it. It took a lot of time and effort, but it was well worth it because it helped me uncover the real reasons why I was struggling so much in my love life. I learned valuable dating skills and insights on how I could build and sustain the happy, lifelong relationship I desired. I learned how to revamp my whole online dating profile so that it truly reflected who I was, what I was passionate about, and what I was looking for in a man and in a relationship. I also learned to be more discriminating in my online dating searches. If a man said something in his profile that didn't quite resonate with me or made me feel uncomfortable, I didn't even bother corresponding with him. What's really incredible is that soon after making these changes, I actually began to meet better quality men and experience more positive results in my love life. Even though most of these men didn't turn out to be Mr. Right, they were still a heck of a lot better than the men I had dated in the past. They were nice, they treated me well, they shared a lot of my interests and values, and they were looking to settle down. Dating actually became fun and enjoyable instead of something I dreaded. Finally, in the summer of 2013, I met a man on Match.com who is now my husband. He makes me so happy, and I'm truly blessed to have him in my life. Now, I'm not telling you all this to brag or impress you, but rather to impress upon you that it is in fact possible to find love online. If I was able to do it after struggling for so many years, then I'm confident that you can as well. Which is why I now want to tell you about the 5 biggest online dating mistakes that are preventing you from meeting Mr. Right. All too often, these mistakes are what's standing between you and meeting the right guy online. Because chances are, if you're not getting good results online, it might very well be because you're making one or more of these 5 mistakes. So now we're going to dive right in and find out what these 5 mistakes are. Mistake number 1 is that your profile is boring. Now, of course, that begs the question, what exactly makes a profile boring? Well, there are actually 3 things that can make your profile sound boring and blah. The first is a long list of adjectives that describe how wonderful a person you are. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not implying that you need to hide the fact that you're an awesome, amazing woman, because let's face it, you are an awesome, amazing woman. However, there's an effective way to tell your matches about all your great qualities, as well as an ineffective way. The ineffective way is to do what I just described. That is, to tell your matches how kind, caring, warm, friendly, sensitive, loving, supportive, genuine, and sincere you are. In which case, your match's eyes will probably glaze over while reading all those adjectives, and he'll quickly move on to the next person's profile. A more effective strategy is to just focus on 2 or 3 core qualities that truly define who you are, and then elaborate on them. For example, I consider my core qualities to be warm, supportive, and caring. So instead of saying in my profile that I'm warm, supportive, and caring and just leaving it at that, I went a little further and elaborated on how I manifest these traits in my everyday life. I said something like this: I consider myself to be a warm, supportive, and caring individual. I'm always the first person family and friends turn to whenever they need someone to talk to or a shoulder to cry on. They know they can count on me for encouragement and support. Now, you've got to admit that sounds a lot more captivating than just saying I'm a warm, supportive, caring person and not saying anything more than that. I'll give you a few more examples of what I mean. If you consider yourself to be a friendly, outgoing person, you can make your profile sound more interesting by elaborating further on those traits. You can say something like, I consider myself to be extremely friendly and outgoing. I'm the kind of person who makes friends easily and strikes up conversations with people wherever I go. I really enjoy forming deep, meaningful connections with those around me, and I look forward to doing the same with you. Here's another example. Suppose you pride yourself on being a very loyal person. Instead of simply saying, I'm extremely loyal and just leaving it at that, you should elaborate further on your strong sense of loyalty by saying something like this: I'm an extremely loyal person who will stand by you thick and thin no matter what types of challenges you may be facing. And when life throws unexpected curveballs your way, I'll be right there by your side to help you get through it. Believe me, I'm sure most guys would enjoy reading something like that. The next thing that makes your profile boring is a huge list of all the activities you enjoy doing in your spare time. While most guys do prefer dating a well-rounded woman who has multiple interests and hobbies, that doesn't necessarily mean he wants to read a whole list of them on your profile. I remember I once came across the profile of a man who used 3 entire lines to list all the things he loved to do in his leisure time. When I read it, I was like, geez, what doesn't this guy like to do? I mean, it was just so boring and monotonous to read. The best way to get around this problem is to choose just 2 or 3 of your favorite activities and interests, and then write a few sentences about each one. It's also a good idea to tell your matches why you enjoy doing these activities, since that gives them more insight into your personality and character. For example, say you really like hiking. Instead of just saying, I like going hiking, tell your matches more about your interest in hiking. Tell them why you enjoy hiking so much and what a few of your favorite hiking spots are. If I was going to write about hiking in my profile, I'd probably say something like, I really enjoy going hiking on weekends. I find it incredibly relaxing and rejuvenating to spend time outdoors and be close to nature. One of my favorite places to hike is Hemlock Gorge. I love the beautiful scenery and waterfalls there. It's a perfect place for me to recharge after a busy week at work. Do you see how much more effective this is than simply listing every single activity you enjoy doing? There's really no need to mention all your hobbies, interests, and passions in your profile. It's better to just mention a few and then talk about the rest of them when you're actually out on a date. The third thing that makes a profile boring is an abundance of commonly used cliches such as, "I enjoy taking long walks on the beach." I honestly believe this is one of the most overused statements in people's profiles. I mean, if everyone really enjoyed walking on the beach that much, there'd be no single people out there. Everyone would just go down to the beach, find the love of their life, and that would be it. There'd be no need for online dating websites or costly matchmaking services. All you'd have to do is go find a beach somewhere, start walking, and eventually you'd find yourself a mate. Oh, if only dating were that simple. Another phrase I've seen way too many times in people's profiles is, "I'm just as comfortable in a t-shirt and jeans as I am getting dressed up for a night on the town." I mean, come on, who isn't? My advice to you is to avoid using cliches as much as possible when writing your profile. Just as you're sick and tired of reading the same old lines in men's profiles, men are sick and tired of reading the same old lines in women's profiles. If you truly want to differentiate your profile from the rest, you've got to make it more interesting for your matches to read. And the best way to do that is by adding touches of humor, creativity, and examples that'll give your matches a better sense of who you are and what you're passionate about. The main goal of your profile is to express who you really are in a way that will pique your match's interest and make them want to contact you so they can get to know you better. After reading your profile, they should be thinking, "Wow, this woman sounds really cool. I'd better contact her so I can find out more about her and hopefully meet her someday." Mistake number 2 is your profile is full of negativity. Negativity is a big no-no when it comes to writing your profile, not to mention a huge turnoff to men. I cannot tell you how many online dating profiles I've come across where people complained about how fed up they are with dating and relationships. Just reading their profiles made me feel depressed. Back in the days when I was dating online, I once came across a profile of a guy who talked about all the things he didn't want in a woman. He said he didn't want a woman who was a rude, bitchy drama queen who was still pining over her ex. While I could fully understand his point of view, I got really turned off by all the negative vibes he was projecting, and I didn't bother emailing him. Even if you feel down in the dumps about men and dating, you mustn't project all your negative emotional energy into your profile. Resist the temptation to gripe and be negative when writing your profile and meeting someone new. The last thing you want to do is come across as a bitter, disgruntled person. Otherwise, your prospects will pick up on all your negativity and they'll get turned off. After all, nobody wants to date a downer. What you need to do instead is to be positive and upbeat. Instead of writing about what you don't want in a partner, write about what you do want. Rather than mentioning all the things you're not looking for in a relationship, write about what you are looking for. For example, instead of saying, "I don't want a man who's rude, arrogant, and intimidating," say something like this instead: "I'm seeking a partner who is kind, caring, and supportive." Or, instead of saying, "I don't want someone who's a lazy couch potato," say, "I'm looking for someone who lives an active lifestyle and enjoys going out and doing new things." Can you sense the difference in emotional energy behind these two sets of statements? When your profile is written with a positive tone, your matches will pick up on your positivity and enthusiasm and feel more compelled to contact you. Mistake number 3 is your primary photo is not flattering. Your primary photo is the first thing your matches see when they view your profile. Thus, if you have a really poor quality primary photo, meaning that it's blurry, over or underexposed, taken on a bad hair day, and so on, you're probably not going to get many responses. The solution to this problem is very simple. Use a primary photo that's flattering and appealing. This doesn't mean you have to look like a supermodel. It simply means that your primary photo should be a clear headshot in which you're dressed nicely and are sitting or standing in a flattering pose under proper lighting conditions. If you don't have any good photos of yourself, ask a friend or relative who's skilled at photography to take some pictures of you, or go to a professional photographer. Moreover, your primary photo should contain only one person in it, you. It shouldn't include your family members, friends, or pets. Your matches want to see you, not other people or your pets. If you want your matches to see photos of your family members, friends, or pets, that's fine. You can include them in the additional photos on your profile. Just don't make them part of your primary photo. Your primary photo should also clearly depict what you look like now, not 10 or 20 years ago. When your matches meet you in person, they don't want any funny surprises when it comes to your physical appearance. I'll never forget the time I had a date with a guy who had short brown hair in his profile photos. But what he didn't bother to tell me was that he had shaved his head 2 weeks prior to our first date. Thus, when I entered the restaurant where we were supposed to meet for lunch, I ended up walking right by him because I didn't even recognize him with a shaved head. Luckily, he recognized me and found me, but it was still an awkward first encounter. Mistake number 4 is misrepresenting yourself. This mistake is the main reason why online dating gets a bad rap. All too often, people lie about their age, body type, profession, income level, and a whole host of other stuff in their profiles. If you make this dreaded mistake, I guarantee it will always come back to bite you in the end when your matches eventually find out the truth and realize that you deceived them. I remember I once dated a guy who said he was 47 years old in his profile. But then during our first date, he happened to mention the year in which he graduated from high school. After doing a bit of mental arithmetic, I realized he was actually 49, not 47. Now I know that 2 years isn't a huge difference, but it still made me think, gee, if he lied about something as simple as his age, then I wonder what else he might be lying about in his profile. That's why you should always be honest in your profile and photos. Don't exaggerate or lie about your age, appearance, personality, or interests. Tell your matches how old you are now, not how old you wish you were. Show them what you look like now, not how you looked 10 or 15 years ago. Let them know what you're truly passionate about, instead of what you think they want to hear. Tell them about the real you, not the person you think you need to become in order to win their love and admiration. For example, if you're shy, don't say in your profile that you're the life of the party just because you think it'll make you sound more appealing. After a while, your matches will discover the real you as they continue to date you. No matter how hard you might try to hide your true colors, they will always manage to shine through. You're therefore always better off revealing your true, authentic self to your matches, both online and offline. That way, there'll be no unpleasant surprises. Mistake number 5 is ignoring the red flags. All too often, we focus way too much on how a man looks in his profile photos and not enough on what he actually says in his profile. Sometimes a man's profile contains major red flags and warning signs, but we conveniently overlook or ignore them because we're so enamored with the way he looks in his photos. For example, suppose you're looking for a serious relationship, but yet you still correspond with guys who say they're only interested in casual dating. Or you dream of starting a family someday, yet you still respond to emails from guys who say they don't want kids. Or perhaps you're quiet and reserved by nature, yet you choose to correspond with guys who claim to be wild party animals. And then when you go out with these guys, it's no wonder that things never work out. That's why no matter how hot a guy looks in his profile photos, you always need to ask yourself the following 3 questions before you even contact him. Question number 1 is, am I fully comfortable with everything he said in his profile? Question number 2 is, do we seem to have a lot in common? Question number 3 is, does the information in his profile resonate with me at all? In other words, can you relate to what he's talking about in his profile? If the answer to all 3 questions is yes, then by all means go ahead and contact him. However, if anything he said in his profile, email, or text messages raises a red flag or makes you feel uncomfortable, then please do yourself a huge favor and move on to someone else whose profile and messages don't set off any alarm bells in your mind. Trust me when I say this, ladies, if the red flags and deal breakers are there before you even meet him in person, they'll still certainly be there weeks and months later after you've met him. As I said earlier, red flags don't turn green. While chemistry and attraction are definitely key ingredients in any romantic relationship, so are compatibility and the ability to get along well together. If you truly wish to find your soulmate, then you've got to spend your time and energy pursuing relationships with the right guys and cut the wrong guys loose as soon as you discover any major red flags and deal breakers. Not only will you have better quality relationships, you'll also save yourself a ton of aggravation and heartache. So those are the 5 biggest online dating mistakes. Just to summarize, they are a boring profile, too much negativity, an unflattering primary photo, misrepresenting yourself, and ignoring red flags. Avoid making these 5 mistakes and you'll significantly increase your odds of success in the online dating world. I really hope you found this information to be helpful and worthwhile, and you'll be able to apply it to your own online dating experience. Now, for those of you who are interested in delving a little deeper and learning more about the secrets to finding love online, I want to share some information with you about my ebook called The Single Woman's Guide to Navigating the Online Dating World: How to Go from Online to Happily Ever After. In this ebook, I'll guide you through each and every step of the online dating process from start to finish. For example, I'll teach you the 3 main elements that your profile must contain in order to pique a man's interest and make him want to contact you. These 3 elements are what distinguish a mediocre profile from a great profile and will help your profile stand out from the rest. I'll also tell you what words to avoid using when writing your profile. If your profile happens to contain any of these words, I guarantee men will get turned off and you won't get many responses. I'll show you how to efficiently screen and search for matches so you don't waste time on the wrong guys. I'll give you tips and strategies on how to write great emails that your matches will want to respond to. I'll point out red flags and warning signs you must never ignore and give you lots more information that'll help take the stress and confusion out of the online dating process. But my book doesn't just stop there. Unlike other online dating ebooks that focus only on the basics of the online dating process, my book goes a step further and teaches you valuable skills, tips, and strategies for creating the right relationship with the right person. For example, you'll learn how to find out early on if the man you're dating would make a good long-term partner for you. That way you won't waste months or years of your life in a relationship with the wrong person. I'll also reveal an easy way to find out if he's being sincere in his profile. You'll get 20 tips for a successful first date, and you'll also learn the 4 telltale signs that a man wants to date you exclusively, plus a whole lot more. By the time you're done reading, you'll have all the knowledge you need to succeed both online and offline. And what's important to realize is that all this isn't just theory. It's actually the same process I used in my own online dating journey that eventually led me to meeting my husband online. Now, for those of you who want even more help and support in finding love online, I'm also offering a bundle package where you'll get my ebook plus an hour-long one-on-one profile review session. During this profile review session, I'll give you my candid feedback and suggestions on how to improve your existing online dating profile and make it more appealing to men. If we happen to complete your profile review in less than an hour, you can use the remaining time to ask me whatever other dating-related questions you might have. Here's how the profile review session works. First, you purchase the bundle package on my website. I'll give you more details on how to do that in a minute. Next, you email your existing online dating profile to me at datewithpower@gmail.com. The easiest way to do this is to just copy and paste the text of your profile into a Word document and email it to me as an attachment. Or you could simply copy and paste the text of your profile directly into an email to me. Then, after you send me your profile, I'll take a look at it and we'll set up a day and time for us to go over it for an hour. I normally conduct these profile review sessions via phone or Skype on weeknights and weekends, depending on our schedules. So if you're ready to take the next step in your online dating journey, you can get my ebook for just $13.95 or the Profile Review Bundle Package for only $50. In the notes below this video, you'll find links to both my ebook and the Profile Review Bundle Package. Simply click on the link for the product you want and you'll be taken to the sales page for it. You can pay with your PayPal account if you have one, or a debit or credit card. One important thing I wanted to mention is, if you pay with a debit or credit card, please make sure to click on the gray-colored Return to Merchant button that'll appear on the screen immediately after submitting your debit or credit card information. You can see a picture of it right here on the slide. It's really important that you click on that button since it'll take you to the page where you can download my ebook. I encourage you to download my ebook as soon as you're on the download page, since you will not be sent a separate email containing a link to download my book. You can only do it right from that page. Of course, if you run into any problems when purchasing or downloading my ebook, please email me at datewithpower@gmail.com and I'll be happy to help you. Whether you decide to buy just my book or the Profile Review Bundle Package, realize that you're making a valuable investment in both yourself and your love life. I know that online dating can sometimes be difficult and frustrating. Believe me, I've experienced that frustration many times in my own online dating journey. But after dating online for all those years and meeting the love of my life on Match.com, I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't, what to do and what not to do, what to say and what not to say, and I'd love the opportunity to work directly with you and help you succeed in finding love online, just the way I did. So if you have any questions or would like to connect with me further, you can find all my contact information here on this slide, as well as links to my website and Facebook group. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and share it with your family members and friends who might be having trouble finding love online. I hope you have a fantastic day ahead and wish you lots of happiness and success in your online dating journey. All the best and bye for now.